Thank you for listening to this episode of the Feldencast. I'm your host, Ethan Cowan. Hi all, this is episode 11 of the Feldencast. Welcome. I think I'm calling it Breathing the Shoulder. It's another installment of my little set of breather interludes, ways to give you and myself a break from interpreting all the AY lessons that are very challenging and also pretty long lately. I don't know if I've been making them longer or if they just are long, but I wanted to record just a short little easy lesson. This one is kind of based on a memory that I have of a lesson that I did in my Feldenkrais training. I did a training from 2009 to 2013. The first year was in New York with a guy named David Zemach-Bersin, and then the three subsequent years were in Berkeley, California with a guy named Dennis Leri, and also with a woman named Carol Kress, who were both amazing teachers. And this is actually not even the full lesson, but part of a lesson that Dennis taught, kind of in the middle of the training. And I'm just doing it from memory, from kind of impressions of what's left over from that one experience. And again, my recording style is a little bit looser. I'm experimenting with that. So if you have any feedback about the lesson, I'd love to hear it. And otherwise, I just hope you enjoy. This is episode 11. Breathing the shoulder. Okay, please start just lying your back. When I say start lying your back, does that do anything for you at this point? Do you have an automatic set of things that you do at the beginning of one of these lessons? I remember I used to feel like something shifted. The moment the Feldenkrais teacher said, lie on your back, I noticed that my breathing would change, or something in my internal space would kind of open, like I'd conditioned myself to have a certain response with those words, lie on your back. So when you're lying on your back in this moment, what kinds of things are you thinking about or feeling? What kinds of things already happened to you today? And how are you feeling about your day? What's the best thing that happened to you so far today? Okay, now roll onto your right side And arrange your legs so that you're comfortable lying on your right side. So just bend the legs however it's comfortable. Bend in the hips, bend the knees. See how you can rest the left leg on top of the right leg. What's the most comfortable way to do it? And then put your right arm so it's underneath your head. So the right arm could be long underneath the head, or you could have it like bent underneath the head, but somehow so kind of use it like a pillow so your neck doesn't feel like at a bad angle. And then just notice where you've spontaneously chosen to rest your left arm. Whether it's along the side or somewhere out in front of you. It's probably not resting behind you, I would guess. And then just feel how the left shoulder is in a certain position because of how you're resting your left arm. So the left shoulder includes, the top of the left arm, right where it meets the torso, shoulder joint. And the left shoulder also includes the left shoulder blade, so-called, the scapula, that's kind of resting on some of the ribs, the left side of the chest and the back. And then for yourself, feel the front of the left shoulder. How the left shoulder is related to the collarbone. And the left side of the chest in the front. Good. Now just make a small movement where you move the left shoulder forward just a little bit. And then you let it go back to where it started. So it's just a small movement of the shoulder forward and then back to where it began. And just do it enough times so that you get some sense of what is forward for the shoulder. And then pause for a moment, reset, and then take the left shoulder just a little bit backwards. So you just take it backwards a small amount and then you let it return to its starting position. And you do it a few times. Kind of slowly though. So you can feel if it's going straight backwards or if it goes backwards and up a little, backwards down a little. Bring the shoulder back to neutral and just wait for a second. And then take the shoulder, the left shoulder, just a little bit up, which means kind of in the direction of the left ear. And when you do that, does it go straight up, or is it up mixed with a little forward or a little backward? Good, then one more time, just pause for a moment, the shoulder in neutral. And then move the left shoulder down in the direction of the left hip, just a small amount that's easy, and then let it come back to neutral. A few times slowly, take the shoulder down so you can feel, is it unadulterated down or is it mixed in with some other directions? Okay, now leave it and just roll yourself onto your back to rest on your back for a second. And just notice if the left shoulder feels any different when you compare it to the right shoulder. And then again, if you don't mind, roll onto your right side, same side as before. And again, situate yourself so that the right arm is supporting the head and the neck. So the right arm is underneath in a way that's comfortable for the head and the neck. And you have the legs bent comfortably. Every time you come back to a position you've been in before, you just see if you can, if there's anything that you need to update about it, any way that you could make it a little bit more livable for yourself. Find out where you'd like to rest the left arm now. And now bring your attention to your breathing. So that means that you start to sense how you are inhaling and how you're exhaling. And specifically, start to feel, how does the left shoulder move a little bit when you breathe in? So, I'm not there with you, so I can't really be sure that your left shoulder moves when you breathe in, but I would bet that if you pay attention to yourself, you'll notice that it does move a little bit, at least. Every inhalation, the left shoulder moves a little bit. See if you feel that. And when you feel it, just try to describe it, or just feel for yourself, what direction does the left shoulder move when you inhale? Does it move up? Does it move down? Does it move forward? Does it move backward? So just get clear for yourself that there's like an inhaling direction for the shoulder, the left shoulder move. And if you want to get a little bit more clear, just inhale a little bit more than you need to. So kind of exaggerate the inhalation so that you can feel which direction the shoulder goes. Good. And leave it alone. Just pause for a moment. And now again, you just inhale a little bit to see what direction does your left shoulder move. And now switch what you're paying attention to so you feel the out breath instead of the in breath. So now you watch what direction does your left shoulder move when you're exhaling. And you might want to exaggerate the exhalation a little bit to get clear about what direction the shoulder goes. So that's fine. Like if you breathe out a little bit more air than you actually have, and what goes with the shoulder. And now just breathe out regularly and breathe in regularly. And see if you can simply observe what happens with the left shoulder during both phases of the breathing. So there's like an inhalation direction, and then there's an exhalation direction for the shoulder. Are those two directions opposite one another? Okay, good. Now just leave it and roll yourself onto your back so you can rest again. And as you're lying there, check in again with your sensation in your left shoulder on your back. So that's the top of the left arm, the left shoulder blade, the scapula on the floor, the front of the left shoulder. Maybe also in the left armpit, on the left side of the chest. And where else on the left side of your entire body do you feel some after effect from the movements you've been doing? Good. Now, one more time, just roll onto your right side. And you've got another chance to make yourself comfortable on the right side. So you can rest your head on your right arm somehow it's comfortable. And you can rest your left leg on top of the right leg, somehow it's comfortable. And you can rest your left arm anywhere that's comfortable. And now start to notice how the left shoulder moves when you're inhaling and when you're exhaling. So when you inhale, it's got to be some combination of moving either up or down, moving forward or back. And then the same thing when you're exhaling, it's got to be some combination of up and down, forward and back. So just clarify for yourself. Just focus on the inhalation direction for a moment. So get clear enough so that you could help yourself go a little bit more in the direction that the shoulder is going naturally when you inhale. So it's like during the inhalation, the shoulder's moving naturally in some direction, you're clear about, and then you just take it just a little bit more in that same direction. And then you let everything, come back to neutral when you're exhaling. And now switch to focusing on the exhalation so that so you get very clear what direction the shoulder is going when you exhale. And then you take it just a little bit more in that same direction with your willpower. And then put them together so it's like when you inhale, you help your shoulder go a little more in that direction. When you exhale, you let your shoulder, or you help your shoulder go a little bit more in that direction. Okay, good. Now just pause for a moment on your right side. Is there anything that you could adjust while you're just lying there to make yourself a little more comfortable on your right side? Good. And now, what would happen if you tried to move your shoulder in the inhale direction while you're exhaling? Let's try to think about that for a second, and then try it a few times. So while you are exhaling, you're trying to take the shoulder in the inhale position or direction. Okay, now let that go for a moment. Just pause, kind of reset. And now try to take your shoulder in the exhale direction while you're inhaling. Don't try very hard though. It's not important to do it well or to do it a lot. Just try to go softly so you can feel you're actually going in the direction you think you're going. Okay, good. Leave it. Just pause for a moment so you can reset. And now just go back so that you take your shoulder, well, you allow it to go in the inhale direction when you're inhaling, and then you help it go like 5% more. And then you allow the shoulder to go in the exhale direction when you're exhaling, and you'll take it 5% more. Good, now just pause for one more moment. Reset. And now 3 or 4 times, simply take your left shoulder forward and then back to neutral. And then take your left shoulder backward and then back to neutral. And now take your shoulder a few times, very small. Just go up a little in the direction of the left ear and then back to neutral. And then down in the direction of the left hip and back to neutral. Okay, now leave it and roll onto the back. And lying on your back, just feel how you're making contact with the floor on the left side of your body compared to the right side of your body. What do you feel is different on the left? And what words might you use to describe some of the sensations on the left side of yourself? And then just roll to one side so you can bring yourself up to standing. And while you're standing, again, just scan the left side of yourself compared to the right side. Feel how the left foot is standing compared to the right foot, left leg compared to the right leg. How the left arm is hanging compared to the right arm. Feeling in the left side of your neck and the left side of your face. If one eye feels more open than the other. Good, and then just walk around whatever room you're in. And feel how walking is. And if you'd like to do the other side, you could just go back to the beginning of the recording. But there's some value, I think, in letting yourself stew a little bit in the asymmetry of sensation that I hope you're feeling at this point. So it's really up to you. You can do the other side or you can not. Either way, you just see how long any of these sensations last. Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Feldencast. If you'd like to reach out and say hello, please do. You can email me at ethan@feldencast.com. I offer the Feldencast in a spirit of transparent generosity. If you have enjoyed your experience, and if you want to give back, please check out the Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Feldencast. Right now, this podcast is just a baby. We have on average 10, 12 listeners per episode. So if you'd like to help the Feldencast grow, please share this episode or any other episode that you've enjoyed, especially with family and friends. Thanks again for listening. I'm really enjoying this project, and I hope you are too.